Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. We'll get started in exactly 30 seconds. There is some information for you in the chat box to check out. All right. So first off, what is a parent center? Well, Family Matters is one of the two parent training and information centers that serves the state of Illinois. We serve 94 counties in Illinois outside the Chicagoland area. We are regulated and funded partially from the U.S. Department of Education, and we are a provision in the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act that all states should have at least one parent training and information center. So we work with families ranging from infants to birth to 26. We help parents and other caregivers and especially self-advocates or students participate effectively in their education. We also partner with professionals and policymakers to improve outcomes for all children with disabilities. Please remember that Family Matters Parent Training and Information Center is unable to offer CEUs for training participants. You can, however, request a certificate of attendance by emailing the presenter after the presentation. Family Matters is not a legal service. We do not provide legal advice or representation in any way, so no information we share with you today or at any time should be considered as legal advice, and you should not substitute it for legal advice. We are partially funded under the U.S. Department of Education. However, the contents of today's presentations don't necessarily represent the policies of the U.S. Department of Education, and you should not assume endorsement. The webinar today will be recorded, and the recording will be available on the Family Matters PTIC website following the presentation. Please, at this time, use the chat box to state your name and the title or the organization that you're associated with. So if you were a parent, I would put Abby Mars, parent, or if I was a professional, I would put Abby Mars, Family Matters PTIC. Please use the Q&A box for questions. This allows me to effectively address the questions after the presentation is finished, and they sometimes get lost in the chat. So for your questions, please put them only in the Q&A box. I cannot guarantee I will find them within the chat. It is very important that after today's presentation, you complete the brief survey that you will receive following the presentation. This helps us fulfill our grant requirements and make sure, most importantly, that we are providing you with the right type of information and trainings that you would like. A copy of the presentation and slides will be emailed to you following the presentation. You also received an email from me earlier today with a link to the Google Drive for slides and handouts. Family Matters, first and foremost, is an educational advocacy helpline. So we get calls from parents, professionals, caregivers, and self-advocates every day, and they ask us different questions regarding their students or their special education or 504 plans. We try to address those calls within callback times as quickly as we can, and we get calls all the time. So we also hold the grant to train educational surrogate parents. The ESP program is a part of ISB, and it is a group of volunteers that have been highly trained to understand special education advocacy, and those volunteers advocate for students within the care of DCFS. Compass is getting ready to start. So we will be making an official announcement about Compass next month in December, which is only a few days away. Compass stands for Coaching Others and Mentoring Parents About School Services. This Compass curriculum is a 10-session curriculum in which you can participate and learn more about special education and how to advocate for your rights as a self-advocate or for your students' rights, whether you are a professional, caregiver, or parent. So please check out our Compass program. We're super excited of how that's going to roll out this year and what the platform is going to look like. I see from the participant list, several of my Compass advocates are here, so I'm happy to see that. We also do a yearly DAISY data educational program. So this is a program that Carrie Potter specializes in. Carrie is our educational support coach here at Family Matters, and it is a wonderful training program. It's like a few different sessions, and you're able to find out more about data collection and how that applies to your student's education plan. We do several special education advocacy trainings. Today is the last one for November. We always record those and put those on our YouTube channel so you can watch anything that we've presented in the past. We're very fortunate to have two self-advocates do monthly vlog posts for us. So we have Bridget Brown and Zoe, the amazing Zoe, that do blog posts for us each month and talk about their life as a self-advocate with a disability. We offer a quarterly newsletter and a quarterly transition news blast. The transition news blast went out early in November. They're both great ways to get more information and news regarding special education in the state. The Transition Blast focuses primarily on transition services, and we also offer a monthly podcast, and that podcast is available on any of your podcasting platforms. I'm the one on the left. Family Matters PTIC employs 2 full-time educational support coaches that provide quality presentations and individualized assistance to caregivers. So it's myself and Carrie Potter for the state of Illinois in the 94 counties that we serve. Okay, so why are we all here today? 22 of us. That's pretty good. I'm going to share one more time in the chat the link to the presentation slides and the handouts. And again, please put your questions in the Q&A box and we'll address those after the presentation. So the importance of extracurricular activities for students with disabilities. This primarily focuses on enhancing transition plans with social skills and vocational skills, a way that those extracurricular activities can support that. I am a firm believer as a parent and as a professional that transition plans actually start the day you enroll your student in school, whether that be preschool, kindergarten, later on in life. We start to gather data and information about your student, and we start to really measure what things they do well, what things they struggle, where their interests lie. So, although we're going to speak specifically about transition plans, which is a portion of your student's IEP that they will officially have attached to their IEP at age 14 and a half in Illinois, extracurricular activities can help support a student from preschool, early intervention on up to be a part of a group and an organization that will promote self-growth for that student. So our training objectives are understanding what extracurricular activities understanding extracurricular activities for students with disabilities, benefits for social, academic, and vocational growth, the legal rights surrounding those, and strategies for advocating and implementing inclusion in activities. So let's talk a little bit about extracurricular activities. So these are activities are more than just a fun thing to do. They are essential for students to participate socially, physically, and academic skills. Activities like sports, music, arts clubs can make a significant impact on students' confidence and overall development, especially for our students with disabilities. Extracurricular activities are a key component of transition planning as well. These activities help students with disabilities practice skills that are crucial for life beyond high school, including communication, teamwork, and independence. By including these in the transition plans, we set our students up for a smoother transition to adulthood. Federal laws, including IDEA and Section 504, mandate that students with disabilities have equal access to extracurricular activities. IDEA allows these activities to be part of the student's IEP plan, and Section 504 provides for reasonable accommodations in these activities. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. These legal framework supports inclusion, equitability, and participation. Examples of extracurricular activities can include sports, music, clubs, academic teams, and more. These activities, as we stated, help students explore interests and develop skills outside the classroom. Each activity offers unique learning experiences and social opportunities, which are vital for well-rounded development. So a parent tip, if you're exploring what your school may offer for extracurricular activities, pop out that school handbook. We all got those during school registration. If you didn't, it's very easy to call your guidance office or school office and say, hey, can I have a copy of the handbook? This handbook is going to list all school affiliated extracurricular activities, clubs. Sometimes extracurricular activities like band or choir is also a school class that your student can take. So make sure that you are looking into what your district offers for extracurricular activities. Participating in these activities offers several benefits. Students improve academically, they boost their confidence, and they learn crucial life skills. The experiences also help broaden their perspectives and establish friendships, all of which contribute to their overall growth and well-being. I'm a scout leader, so this picture here is great. So extracurricular activities teach valuable social skills as well, like communication, teamwork, and empathy. These skills are essential in all areas of life and help students with disabilities feel more included and connected to their peers. Their peers also learn great experiences for our students with disabilities participating in these activities. It enhances their ability to interact and effectively in a diverse environment. Also, a great way to learn some vocational skills. Many extracurricular activities allow students to learn and practice vocational skills. Through roles in clubs or activities, students can develop leadership, organization, and responsibilities. These experiences prepare them for their future employment and help them understand workplace expectations. So, my daughter, who has a disability, she has an IEP, she's in high school, is part of our school's culinary club. Through the culinary club, she's been able to achieve her food certification certificate. So that opens some job opportunities for her. And she's learning about healthy eating, budgeting, meal prepping, um, keeping her workspace clean for meal prep. So these are all great independent living supports for her independent living and her employment, not to mention some friendships and socializations she's made in this environment. It definitely helps build some self-confidence. I've seen my daughter say, "Hey, mom, can I make the mac and cheese for dinner?" Or, "Hey, mom, can I help you meal prep?" So, extracurricular activities help students build self-confidence by allowing them to achieve and contribute. This sense of accomplishment fosters independence as students take on challenges and responsibilities in a supportive environment. By building skills, they can apply it in a various settings. Research shows that students involved in extracurricular activities often perform better academically as well. These activities reinforce skills like time management, focus, and perseverance, all of which contribute positively to their studies and academic achievements. I think there's some information in your resources on the Google Drive that talks about the increase in math abilities and reading abilities from things like music and theater. So keep that in mind as well. Let's talk about some more social opportunities. Extracurricular activities offers numerous socialization opportunities, enabling students to form friendships, practice social skills, and experience a sense of belonging. This social growth is a crucial for students with disabilities who may otherwise feel isolated. So, when students with disabilities who may be in a more restrictive educational setting for their benefit, they don't get a lot of time with their non-disabled peers. So, inclusion into these activities really help build that connection and improve those social skills. So, if your student is in a more restricted environment for their educational setting, which has your team has determined is appropriate for them, extracurricular activities is a great way to get more time with our non-disabled peers, and definitely research into how that could be accomplished. So, extracurricular and post-secondary readiness. By building various skills through extracurriculars, students are better prepared for post-secondary life, whether that involves further education, employment, or independent living. These activities contribute to foundations of independence, responsibility, and readiness for life after high school. Not to mention, if we have some interest in extracurricular activities now, chances are when we move on to that next step, whether it be a college setting or trade school setting, we may be interested in joining clubs and joining other organizations to help further our career. Same way with your employment. If you are really comfortable doing presentations because you did debate there or you did public speaking with 4-H, these are things that can directly associate to that employment and to show your skills to your employer. So let's give some examples. So we have a student through consistent involvement in school theater program learn to be more comfortable with public speaking, teamwork, and time management. These skills not only help them academically, but have also provided them the confidence and tools for a successful job interview and employment. Let's, like I always say, think outside the box. So it's essential to ensure all students, including those with disabilities, have equal access to extracurricular activities. IDEA and Section 504 protect these rights, requiring schools to provide reasonable accommodations. Equal access fosters inclusion, allowing all students to benefit fully from these experiences. So, in other words, if your student wants to join a club or a sport or some type of a school associated extracurricular activity, the school cannot deny them access to that. Instead, you would have to sit on and talk about reasonable accommodations for your student to participate. That can always happen during an IEP meeting. So, Including extracurriculars in that IEP or 504 plan for that matter ensures students with disabilities have a structured support to be able to participate. During the IEP meeting, parents and educators, along with the student, should discuss the student's interests, potential accommodations, and specific goals related to those extracurricular activities, especially during that transition plan. The proactive approach helps guarantee that students' needs are met outside the academic environment. So, if I have a student who has done some assessments with his teacher and shown that he has a definite trades driven interest, maybe in construction or welding or automotives, him joining the school automotive club or joining the construction club is a definite must. We need to talk about ways to do this. This is going to help the student to determine if they do have that interest before they devote classroom time, before they, go off and pay for trade school to find out they don't want to be a welder. These are great ways to get that student some experience in this area. Parents and educators can work together to ensure effective participation in these activities by first understanding the student's interests and strengths. Next, they should advocate for necessary support and regularly assess the student's progress and satisfaction with these activities. So these are kids, guys. I'm 40 and I still try to figure out things I like. If they join culinary club and you are, as their IEP coordinator, are monitoring how they're doing, as their parent are listening to your student about culinary club, and you start to see they're disengaged, all these things, and you're trying different things like maybe peer modeling or a buddy system in there, and they're still not showing interest, it's okay to remove them from that club. I, as a parent, had a very strict rule with my kids. If you join it, you're going to commit to it to a year, but that's my rule. You could definitely say you've given it your best shot. You're not super great, interested in it. You don't really find it fun. Then it's okay to step back and talk about other areas that the school may be able to offer those supports in a different type of setting and a different type of club. So it's absolutely okay. Monitor how your student's doing, listening to how they're doing. Let's talk about some barriers. Barriers such as physical accessibility, transportation, and social integration can limit students' participation. It's crucial to identify these barriers early on and collaborate on strategies to address them. Simple adjustments like ensuring accessible locations or providing social support can make a significant difference in inclusivity. Let's talk about some reasonable accommodations that we can provide our students with these clubs. Accommodations make it possible for students with disabilities to participate fully. Examples include assistive devices, modified equipment, additional support staff, and flexible schedules. The right accommodations enable students to overcome challenges and engage meaningfully in their chosen activities. I also want to point out that there are many times for extracurricular activities, no matter what time of day they take place. As students, all the students' accommodations they receive in the IEP can be applied to those extracurricular activities. So, if your student wants to join bass fishing, okay, lots of schools are doing bass fishing now. I think my school district is holding the state competition for it this year. So if your student wants to do bass fishing, but he has the support of a one-on-one aide to monitor seizure activity, that one-on-one aide can attend, maybe not that specific one, but the support of a one-on-one aide can attend those programs and competitions with him. So keep that in mind. That's something you'll have to discuss in your IEP meeting and how that will be accomplished. Talk a little bit more about some supports that can be offered during these activities. So sports provide physical and social benefits. They are an excellent opportunity for students with disability. Inclusive sports programs can build self-esteem, improve health, and offer a sense of teamwork. Schools should prioritize making these programs accessible throughout adaptive rules, equipment, or added support staff. I have seen a few times a little hiccups with certain competitive sports. I will say IHSA, which is the Illinois School Sports something, I can't remember. They do have a complete department on adding accommodations to school sports and competitions. So should you run across where you're getting accommodations at practices at school, but you're unsure if your student can receive those accommodations in the competitive side of things, definitely contact that organization. Their name and number is listed in the resources that are attached in the Google Drive. So you can reach out to them. They're an excellent team of individuals Again, they have a whole department that is devoted to making sure the accommodations you need are reasonable and that can be applied to competitions for sports. Creative arts programs support self-expression, emotional growth, and sensory engagement for students with disabilities. Art and music can be therapeutic and empowering. Schools can adapt activities by providing assistive technology, sensory-friendly spaces, or flexible participation methods. Academic clubs like robotics, math league, or debate teach problem solving, teamwork, and resilience. These clubs can be inclusive by ensuring adaptive tools and modify participation levels to allow students with disabilities to join and learn alongside their peers. Aftercare and supervision. After school programs can be beneficial for socialization and personal growth. If a student's IEP includes participation in such programs, the school is responsible for ensuring its accessibility. Discussions around staffing, accessibility, and safety are essential to maximizing the students' benefit in these programs. Schools and districts must uphold the rights of the students with disabilities by providing equal access to all school-sponsored activities. If you're unsure if the activity is school-sponsored, clearly ask that in writing to the district and ask them to provide support for that. This includes making reasonable accommodations without fundamentally altering the program. Ensuring inclusivity is not just about access, it's about creating an environment where students can thrive. Let's talk about non-school programs, so youth-based organizations that can benefit students with disabilities. Now, as someone that volunteers a lot with youth-based organizations, some of these organizations are affiliated or chartered with your school district. If that is the case, the IEP must be followed in these types of programs. So if your school hosts a Special Olympics team, your student's IEP needs to be followed with this team, as long as we're not altering what Special Olympics is trying to do in some way. So that's going to have to be talked about in a meeting. That meeting might bring in your region coach, so your region H coach or your region I Jackie coach might come in into that meeting and talk about how this accommodation would apply for Special Olympics. Same way with with Scouts USA, formerly Boy Scouts USA, Girl Scouts, 4-H. These are all could possibly be chartered through your district. They don't have to be, but they could possibly be, and your IEP would affect to that. So my son is a resident at Hope School, which is a therapeutic day program in Springfield, and his school has a BSA program or Scouts USA program attached to it. So his IEP is followed. So his IEP, his one-on-one aide attends that with him. They monitor his seizures. They provide extra time to answer questions, all of the things. What is important to remember is every organization on this screen right now, and I have listed a few more in your resources, all have a disability section or a inclusion department associated with them. I'm most familiar with Special Olympics and Scouts USA because I am a coach and I am a scout leader in those organizations. So Scouts USA, I'm part of GSLAC Council, or the Greater St. Louis Area Council, and we have a disability or inclusion division to help me as a leader help your student participate in our program. Now, this is a program that's not affiliated with the school. So a lot of these programs have those types of departments associated with their program. All of these programs on the screen, all of the ones listed in your resources, are great ways for your students to build those skills that we've talked about: more socialization, better academics, better teamwork abilities, all of these things. Organizations like Girl Scouts USA, Scouts USA, and 4-H all have trades-driven types of I almost said merit badges because, again, Scouts, they have trades-driven accomplishments or requirements to do. So, for example, Scouts USA has many trades-driven merit badges. So if your student would be interested in welding, they have a welding merit badge. If they're interested in public speaking, there's a public speaking merit badge. Girl Scouts is very similar. I'm not exactly for sure because I'm not a Girl Scout leader. 4-H, we did 4-H for a hot minute with my kids. And again, my daughter was able to focus on cooking, something she had an interest in, focus on gardening, something she had an interest in. So all of those things have trades-driven requirements or merit badges or patches for Girl Scouts. So those are options that you can really get your kids started on early. They all have departments that have inclusion specialists of the part of their department. They can talk about more ways to include your student. as a Scoutmaster, as a Cub Master, I was invited to many IEP meetings so I could listen how the school was providing inclusion, what supports the school was providing, so I could integrate that into my scouting's individualized scouting plan. So again, a lot of these organizations have some type of department that is inclusive and will support your student in joining these. So don't think that they can't. Don't think that they won't. Some park districts have recreational activities modeled around students with disabilities. Many YMCA programs also have this one. So definitely look into what your community may offer for youth-based participation. A lot of times we see our students with disabilities get connected with these organizations, and they are lifelong members then because they found support, they found inclusion, they've made lifelong friends. So don't rule out non-school based youth organizations as a possibility. There is a list of them in the documents that are associated with today's presentation. So how to discover what type of activity is best for your student. So we all know this as caregivers, as parents with students with disabilities, we have to be their support in this. So we're going to have to do the head work. We're going to have to do the leg work to see what our students are going to like. So start by exploring your child's interest. Do they have an interest in the outdoors? Do they have an interest in cooking? Find out what youth organizations may foster that, may promote that, and have a conversation with your student about it. Would you enjoy trying Cub Scouts? Would you enjoy trying Girl Scouts? Would you enjoy going to the YMCA once a week? This is what you could possibly do. Find out what excites them about this program. We can always try these programs out without signing the paper, without paying the join fee, without buying the saxophone. Okay. So for our students with disability, let's customize it a little bit. Let's go to a couple band practices. Let's talk to the band leader. Let's go to those Boy Scout meetings to see what exactly we're doing. What is my student finding exciting about this? Is there a peer within this organization that you know they already have a connection with? Explore local organizations like libraries or community centers. Programs like Special Olympics are usually affiliated with school districts, but sometimes they're not. But definitely look into what your community could offer. Those parent groups on social media are great for that. Put something out. My student needs to do something once or twice a week so he can improve his socialization. What types of programs are out there? You don't have to give any personal information. You can sometimes you can post to those groups anonymously, but find out what's in your organization. Depending on your school district, sometimes you will get flyers sent home saying join band with our school, join Scouts USA outside our school. So definitely pay attention. Don't think your student's not capable because they have a barrier. Okay. Lots of organizations will really work hard to remove that barrier for you so your student can be included. So try before committing and include that. So after your student has found that they enjoy this activity and you want your student to continue doing this activity, definitely write a letter to your IEP team to let them know that they're doing it. If it's a school-based activity, call a meeting to talk about receiving accommodations in this type of activity. So I did list some resources for you. This is again on that Google shared drive. Family Matters serves 94 counties outside of the Chicagoland area. I'm so happy if you're from FRCD area and you watched our presentation today. But if you have direct questions regarding extracurricular activities that I don't address in today's presentation, please feel free to call them if you live in McHenry, Lake, Kane, DuPage, Cook, Kendall, Will, or Grundy County. How can you get involved with your parent center? So our particular parent center has that educational surrogate parent program. Think about becoming an educational surrogate parent, attend educational events like this one. You can donate to the program. I think we are going to have something for Giving Tuesday released. Consider applying for the board of directors for Family Matters or FRCD, or if you live in another state, your PTIC board will have a board, and share information about Family Matters Parent Training and Information Center in your network of families you serve. At this time, I will stop the recording